Hello, everyone, and welcome to our YouTube Live. My name is Michelle,
Hello everyone, I'm Rachel.
and welcome to Keeping Up with the Windsors. We went a little bit early, just in case, we had any little issues. So, yeah, I know everyone's going to start joining in about, say, 30 seconds time. I'm going to just double check, Rach, that we're live, so bear with me.
Yeah, I think it's just come up. I've just got a message to say that we're live. As you can tell, Royal Community, if you're on the replay, we're very new to this. This is new technology to us, so please bear with us.
Yeah, absolutely. We just wanted to do our first YouTube Live and say hello. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. Thank you so much for listening. However you know us, because some of you may know us from the podcast, and we've had the podcast since 2021, and we've been doing this for it seems like a long time now, doesn't it?
It's such a long time,
Yeah.
and just we've had a bit of a break, and tell you about that break and what our plans are for the future of Keeping Up the Windsors. But as Shell said, some of you might only know us from Instagram, or you might listen to the podcast and you might be a regular listener, or maybe you've never listened to us before. So we thought this would be a great way to introduce ourselves, and just so you can get to know us a bit, and as we said, what's going to be happening in the future.
Absolutely. So we do have lots of things planned, which we will go through with you in the live. One other thing I'd love to say is we're going to kind of go through all that information. And at the end, if you've got any questions, we'll pick some from the chat. So we'll give you our information first, and then we'll pick some questions from the chat. So thanks so much for putting them in advance, right question at the start, so we can pick it out quite easily from there. So last time we had brand new content was over on the podcast, wasn't it, Rach, in December 2023? And there was this whole feeling of we're gonna just have a break. We were burnt out. We were just on the hamster wheel. The podcast had grown so big, and the YouTube channel we'd had for over a year. And to be honest, the podcast was taking a lot of time, wasn't it, over the YouTube? So
Yeah.
I think this is a lovely way of kind of bringing more emphasis to YouTube.
Yeah, definitely. And like Shell said, we've been doing the podcast for 3 years and we've never gotten off the hamster wheel. Literally, as soon as we started with the Harry and Meghan interview, a few weeks later, Prince Philip died. Then we've had the Platinum Jubilee. We've had the Queen passing away, the coronation. If you've listened to the podcast, you follow us on Instagram, you'll know that we went to the Jubilee, we went to the coronation. We're long-time royal followers, and we're British. So we've got kind of a unique perspective compared to other royal content creators in that sense. So I think it's really nice that we can show you that side of us living in the UK, what it's like. We share, we go on trips, we go to London, not all the time, but we've been to a few different events there. We've been to Garter Day. So yeah, we're very royal focused. And
We are.
even before we started the podcast, we would always speak about the royals, wouldn't we?
Yeah, so Rach and I have been friends. I think we tried to figure this out maybe 12 years. It might be 12 years plus. We met through a mutual friend, and we've been friends ever since. And one of our loves is the royals, another is history and also fashion. So we always chat about those things. And I think that's the reason why when we were in lockdown in 2021, we were having a conversation on the phone where I think we spoke about the royals for about an hour on the phone. And I said, oh, wouldn't this make a really good podcast? And so kind of the podcasting idea was born. So this is kind of like following on from that, because now we've had our break. We've had a good 5 months break, and we feel refreshed and energized and ready to go. And this is why we wanted to have this conversation today, and to use YouTube Live in particular, because we would love to bring our royal content to YouTube on more of a live basis, on more of a, we'll see, we're not going to do it on a weekly basis like we did with the podcast, because we did get burnt out. So we're trying to find an equilibrium that works for us all. And so as we move forward, there will be content. You'll be kind of getting to know when we're going to be doing the lives every week, and then when we're going to be taking a little break. So we're looking forward to this new era, shall we say, of how we bring royal content to you royal community. And I'm really excited about it, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've said, if you listen to the podcast, you'll know that we have a royal roundup where we talk about little engagements that have gone on throughout the week, and then we have royal news section where we talk about the bigger engagements and what we particularly liked about those engagements and really speak about them in depth. What's going to be different about the YouTube live is we're probably going to only focus on 1 or 2 engagements, and then we're going to have maybe something like the royal fashion moment of the week, because we know a lot of our royal community and people out there love talking about royal style, royal fashion, and a royal recommendation of the week. So maybe Shell's read an article that she particularly liked, or I've seen a particular TV show, for example, something along the lines of that. So it's going to be different in that sense, because although you're used to, if you listen to the podcast, following along each week and having that formula, for us, as Shell said, we were getting burnt out. And so we need to find a way for it to become exciting and fun for us. And then hopefully you'll enjoy that as well.
Yeah, and when we got together, probably in January, wasn't it, talking about how we want to proceed, and there was never a point where we were like, we're over it, like we just don't want to do it. There was never that. It was always, we want to do it, but how can we do it that's sustainable? And I think that's why we took our time with it, because we didn't want to come back and then feel burnt out again. So having lots of conversations behind the scenes about what excited us, what was something that really spoke to us as royal fans, because I think if we find it interesting, we're hoping that you royal community will find it interesting as well. Also, when we're on these lives, we will still be using the same little nicknames we've got, like the hobnob and Trevally. Those things will never go, but it's going to be quite interesting over the next couple of weeks, I think, just trying to find our feet and what we're gonna do. So bear with us, and this is something we wanted to say to you right now. We're using different technology. We're using different systems behind the scenes. Things may go wrong. This literally could go kaput at any moment. We're bracing ourselves for it. But also, the format might be different. So the way in which we've given content before, just as Rachel's described, will change, but we will probably still be changing it up over the next 3 or 4 weeks, because we want to double check that everything is like you're enjoying it as well as we are enjoying it, kind of as content creators. So it's going to be a bit of a trial and error period. Please bear with us, and as we go along, we will hopefully iron out the creases. And we did do this, didn't we, Rach, with the podcast? Because the podcast was press record, give it a go, and we will iron out whatever needs to happen as we go. And I feel like that's the same with this.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, we've put a lot of time and effort into the podcast, but we just want to thank everyone that has listened on a regular basis. If you're a new follower, if you're a OG follower, we really do appreciate it. And I think it's time that we take that next step of what we want to do. And we're not saying this might be the end of the podcast. We're not saying that at all, but we're just trying something different and seeing how that works for us. And we might find in a few weeks that we want to try something else. So we don't know ourselves until we give it a go. So hopefully you can understand where we're coming from with that. And just thank you if you're following us from YouTube. Thank you for being here. If you're over on Instagram, thank you for being here. Just, we really do appreciate it. And we've loved all the messages that we've had over the past 5-6 months saying,
we've had a lot.
We've had so many people messaging us. We've still been in contact, haven't we, Shell? We've still met up over the months. We don't live near each other, so it is harder for us to meet in person. We're actually meeting next week, aren't we?
We are going to Troop in the Colour, so we'll be on the Mall. There will be a dedicated vlog on our YouTube channel, kind of following us for that day. We are hoping to do some other extra things during that day as well, so stay tuned. There's lots more to come. And just as you said, like, we've not only been in touch with each other, talking royals. You know, we've still been having those conversations, just not on camera or on the mic. But we've also been very, very connected with our VIP Royal community. So that's our membership that you can join if you like. It's on Ko-fi, Keeping Up with the Windsors. And we have been every single month, we've had a Zoom call, we're in the Facebook group talking. So I don't feel as if we've been that disconnected from it. We've been very engaged, talking about all things that have come up since we've been away, which has been a lot actually, hasn't it?
Oh, there's been so much that's happened. I think one of the biggest things, obviously, was the shock diagnosis of Catherine's cancer announcement.
Yeah.
That was such a shock. And at the time, if you're not part of our royal community, VIP royal community, should I say, you would know that Michelle was actually on holiday. And normally, something big happens, she would be the first person that I would call. And she was on holiday. I couldn't reach her. She was in the middle of the sea somewhere.
I had no Wi-Fi, living it up on a cruise ship. And the next day, I've never, ever in my life tried to get Wi-Fi so fast, ever. I'd like put the cellular on, like if I've got any, and I just have this flood of messages. But there is a question a little bit later, which we can pass on to that and talk a little bit more about that, Rach. So we'll hold off on that for the moment. Yeah, so just to kind of reiterate, we are using new technology. We've never used it before. We'll give it a go, see what happens. There's a little fly flying around me, so if you see it coming past, just ignore. And also as well, this is everything we're doing is trial and error. We're going to give it a go, see what happens. Another thing is we will be, get out your calendars right now, we will be live next Wednesday the 12th of June. We'll be live Friday the 21st of June, and also Wednesday, the 26th of June. And they'll all be 6:30 p.m. British summertime. British summertime. I always get that mixed up. British summertime. So those dates, pop them in your diaries. We also will have this live available on our YouTube straight afterwards. So if you would like to watch the recording and get those dates down again, you're more than welcome to. I'll go through them just one more time for you. The 12th of June, which is next Wednesday, Friday the 21st of June, and Wednesday the 26th of June, all at 6:30 British summertime. So we're looking forward to welcoming you and trialing different things. And also remember, on that Friday the 21st of June, we will be able to chat with you about our Troop in the Colour experience. So we've been to Troop in the Colour before, but this is going to be a different one really, because obviously Catherine isn't going to be there. We're not sure whether the children are going to be there, and we know now that the king is going to be in a car or a carriage. I can't remember which one now. I think it's a carriage. So we'll give you all of our experiences of that, and obviously we'll have a vlog for you to watch as well. Right. Have we covered everything we need to cover so far, Rach?
Yeah.
I think we have, haven't we? Yeah, I just want to reiterate something that Rachel said, which is thank you so much for all your messages. We had a lot of them, a lot. When are you coming back? Why aren't you talking about this? When are you, like, what date are you coming? You know, what have you been doing? Blah, blah, blah. And we've just, like, it's been really hard behind the scenes. Haven't like, we've been chomping at the bit, but we just didn't want to, say something, and then, like I say, we were burnt out, so we just needed that extra bit of time. Are you happy to go to questions, Rach?
Yeah, should we do some questions? Have we got some questions? I can't see the questions.
Yeah, bear with me a second. Okay, so I love it. Poppy said, what a lovely surprise that we popped up. Okay, so we've got a question from Joshua. Just going to show that on the screen. There have been a few royal news stories in the last 5 months since the podcast have been on hiatus. I mean, Joshua, that is a big statement in itself. It has. What's the biggest story that has broken since you've been gone? So that's why I said, I saw that question. I was like, okay, maybe we should hold off on the Catherine and the King cancer story and chat about that here.
Yeah. So yeah, as I said, the Catherine diagnosis, it was a shock. I mean, it was quite intense that time, wasn't it? Because if you remember, there's so much media furore around, where is Catherine? She's not been seen since Christmas. And then there was just so much of a palaver on social media as well. People not necessarily even following the royals. Well, where is she? Has she, so many rumours. Has she died? And they haven't told us. Is William having an affair? And they haven't told us, and they're sweeping that under the rug. It was just insane. And when the announcement came, I kind of felt like she was forced to make an announcement, because there was so much chatter around her and it just wouldn't quieten down. And I feel like she was pushed into a corner in a way to come out and announce it, and maybe a time that she wasn't ready to. So it's been quite tough in the sense, as a royal fan. It's hard to say, because we love all of the royals, but she is one of the main senior members of the royal family that we love to follow, isn't she, Shell? So not having her around has been really hard, and it's made royal watching that little bit less enjoyable.
I was really shocked when I heard about the king, and then we heard about Catherine, and it was whoa, like whoa, because it wasn't just here is our cancer diagnosis. It was, we're having a treatment, or then Catherine's having an operation. And those things happened at the same day. They happened, like, those two press releases, which is unheard of in royal, in the royal world, is unheard of to have that. So I hope that there wasn't anything serious when it came to Catherine. I hope that whatever operation she had, it would have been a quick recovery, and then she would be back. And I was so shocked to find out about her cancer diagnosis. Like I say, I was on the cruise ship. The day before that, I was in a Greek city, Thessaloniki, and I went to a bakery, and the lady behind the counter said to me, "Where's Kate Middleton?" And I thought, out of all the people you could ask, you asked me. But it was everywhere. It was worldwide news, wasn't it? There was just foray around it. There was loads of rumors, and it was just a really tough time to be a royal fan, I have to say, because I think even people who you wouldn't necessarily talk about the royals to, for instance, people in work, they would come up and ask you because they know you like the royals, blah 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 blah. And it was tough. It was really tough at the time. I'm so glad that we had a video of her, because I think a lot of the rumors were about, she, what the rumors were like, royal community, I don't have to say anything. Just shocking. But I agree with you, Rach. I think it was, her hand was forced. And even now we're still getting when is she coming back? Well, we don't need to know that. She's having cancer treatments, preventative chemotherapy. Let her get on with her life, and when she's ready, she'll come back. It's just really hard, isn't it? It's really hard because she's so beloved, and people want to know she's okay. And even William, in an engagement this week, said, one of the veterans at D-Day said, "How is Catherine?" And he was like, she's getting better. And that's the thing on everybody's lips. Is she okay? So I think that is the answer to the question, Joshua. That was the king and Catherine's cancer, but I think more towards Catherine for Rach and I in particular. All right, Brenda's got a question. Biggest question: have you been enjoying your time off? Have we, Rachel?
We have been in. Do you know, it's really funny, Brenda, because when we were trying to figure out when we were going to come back and what days that we would be hosting this live, it was really hard, because Cheryl and I were both like, well, we have a life now. We have a social life.
It was so hard, wasn't it?
Because if you listen to the podcast, if you know, or maybe you don't, we would record on a Wednesday evening, and then we would edit the podcast on a Thursday/Friday, and then it would go live midnight Saturday morning our time.
Yeah.
So obviously depending on where in the world you are. So that's at least 3 days, but then we would have another day where we would be writing every day, like any engagement, we would write notes down. Like we would have a channel where we would say, I don't know, the king in blah, blah, blah. And then it, you know, and the charity or something like that. So it's full on when you do it like that. And I think that's why we've decided that we're going to try it this way, because it should be for us less work. Then it won't feel like work, because that's what it was beginning to feel like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as Shell said, we've still been royal watching. It's not like we've just switched off that switch. I've obviously been still on the Instagram. As Shell said, we've been with our VIP royal community. We've still been having our monthly Zoom calls, which we absolutely love, connecting with our people over there. So yes, I mean, what have I actually done? I'm trying to think what I've done. Oh, okay, the biggest thing that I've done since we haven't been recording the podcast is I have started to learn Korean. That's the biggest thing. So I'm getting there slowly but surely. I've been watching lots of Korean shows, listen to Korean music, and I'm loving it. So that's one of the hobbies that I've picked up whilst I haven't been doing the podcast. What about you, Shell? What have you been doing?
Well, I turned 40, and that was a bit of a I don't know, I just found that really difficult. Anyone who's turned 40 out there may know, because it doesn't affect everybody in the same way, but I was pretty down for about 3 months afterwards. Like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And I thought, hang on a minute, I'm a life coach, I know what I'm doing, my life is fine. But I think it's just that life transition. And so that kind of took up a lot of time. I went on holiday. It was like for my 40th, I went on a cruise around the Greek islands, which was spectacular. I had such a lovely time. And I've just been exactly the same as you, Rach. Like, kind of, what have I been doing? Hang on a minute. And I tell you one thing, Royal Community, Rachel and I, in December going into January, we were like, we didn't really talk to each other very much. And before we stopped the podcast, a lot of people said, have you fallen out? And we were like, no, we haven't. We're just burnt out. Like, we just need a break. So it was interesting. And then January came and we kind of just, got back into it. And I think as well, with everything that was going on behind the scenes with Charles and with Catherine, I think as well, you could not talk about it, right? There's just so much going on. So I've really enjoyed my time away, and to have that reprieve, I think, to just breathe a little bit. But I'm also really excited to be back. Like, we're ready. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Tara, we're going to be answering your question next. Will Charles be at Troop in the Colour with the election pending? Are the festivities all cancelled? The American news made it sound like they are cancelled. Rachel, what's the scoop?
No, they're not cancelled. So Troop in the Colour is going ahead. So as we said, it will be next Saturday. The King and the Queen will be in attendance. The only difference is the King will not be on horseback. He will be in a carriage. And apparently he will take the salute in the carriage. And because when you watch Troop in the Colour, usually the King will be on horseback the entire time as he's inspecting the troops. And we know that because we've actually been to see the rehearsal, shall I say, and William.
We've got a YouTube video of it, Rachel. We have. I'll pop it in the comments below if you want to watch it.
So we know what goes on in that sense. So yeah, it's still going ahead. Obviously, probably not Catherine will be there. We would love it, obviously, if she turned up, if she even come onto the balcony and gave a wave. I'm sure people would love that, but I'm not expecting her to be there. Again, I would love if the kids would be there, because they are a highlight as well, seeing them. But again, I'm not expecting it. I think obviously the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh will be there. The Princess Royal will 100% be there, as well as the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester. So I think the main people, and Prince William will be there as well. But I'm not sure about the kids and Catherine.
I'm really hoping to get as close to the balcony as possible. And it's something I would love to say to any Royal community member out there watching. If you are on the Mall next Saturday, just message us on Instagram and let's see if we can just come, come and say hi, or we'll see if we can like let you know where we are. Because we want, if you're there, let's meet you, let's go, have a little chat about the royals and whatever. So yeah, don't feel afraid that we're going to the trooping. No, if you're there, come and meet us. Like, we're all good. But I'm hoping to get as close to the balcony as possible, because I think, Rach, the closest we've been is, do you know when Ed Sheeran was singing that song at the Platinum Jubilee? We got pretty close to the Victoria fountain, didn't we?
Well, I went last year. You didn't go, Shell, and that was the closest that I've been. I could actually see the balcony, and I've never. I mean, we've only done trooping once or twice. So it's great to see them, and it's just such a wonderful experience, because there's so many people there, and they're all there for the same reason. So it's a lovely day out if you're in London. So definitely, if not, watch it on TV and get the enjoyment from the pomp and the pageantry that us Brits do so well.
I mean, I'm sure it's going to be raining, that's just the way that it goes. But fingers crossed, fingers crossed. We've got a question from Greg. So Gregory said, when you go to trooping, will you make any stops to London stores? And what are you looking forward to the most with trooping?
London stores, we haven't really, I mean, we always kind of detour to Fortnum's, don't we? Even though we don't ever really buy anything from there. It's just a store to look around, especially if you're in that area, because it's just up the road from Buckingham Palace. But we're actually meeting up with one of our lovely VIP Royal Community members, Julie. She's coming over from America. So we're actually making a day of it with her, and we're going for a late lunch after trooping. So we can't wait for that. But I don't think we've got any stores planned, have we, Shell?
It's not stores, no. I was kind of toying with the idea that if we could potentially, we could go and have a look for because I know the King's portrait, just that red one, there's been released probably about 2 weeks ago. That's in the Philip Mould Gallery in Pall Mall. So if we get time and it kind of works out, it'd be really cool to see that in person. But apart from that, we're just kind of keeping it open to see wherever the day takes us. In London, there's always going to be something that's going to take your fancy. So yeah. Just having a look. Have we got any more questions? Oh, thank you so much. So we've got Alejandra. Yeah, we're having a lovely day. Thank you so much. And also we've got Alison. I love this one. I love you both so much. I trust you implicitly with all my royal news and facts. Thank you. Thank you so much. Jackie. Yeah, it's lovely to be back. It's lovely to get back to royal watching and bringing you some fresh royal content. So I think that's it for us, isn't it, today?
Yeah. So as we said, next week will be our new format. So we'd love if you could join us live. If you can't, the video will be saved. So we'll be talking about 1 or 2 engagements and any of the big royal news that has come out for what's going to be happening next week. So Thank you so much for being here with us today. We really honestly appreciate everyone being here so much. And we hope that you enjoy the future content that's going to be coming your way.
Yeah. Have a lovely day, royal community, and see you on... I'm looking at my dates. See you on Wednesday, the 12th of June for another YouTube Live with our new format. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.